Yes.
Oh, yes. That was such a crispy, fantastic beer opening, Chris Belden.
Yes, it was. It was. I think I hurt my finger, but it sounded great.
You know, the sacrifices we make. Well, I think that was a suitably celebratory beer opening sound because we have a lot to celebrate, Chris. We have a whole ton of stuff to celebrate. And I know it's not 8 o'clock yet, and we'll repeat ourselves, but we are so excited to be celebrating the release of Midnight's book and Chance's book, these fabulous collections of poetry. We are wearing the sweatshirts with the fabulous book covers. I'm wearing Phil's book cover here. Okay, what's it all for? Okay. And then you can see Phil himself right there. What a cool picture of him.
What's it all for?
What's it all for? And John Chance Acevedo's Sketches of My Rights. What a cool sketch of Chance there. And what a beautiful book. Some fabulous quotes on the back as well. Everybody needs to get it. And of course, we'll be talking lots more about that as the evening goes on. Another very, very exciting thing we're celebrating this week is the release of the trailer for A Little White Lie, the movie formerly known as Shriver, based on Chris Belden's book, Shriver.
That's right. Opening March 3rd at a theater either near you or very far from you, depending on
And you all just watch, because as soon as we know which theater closest to us is showing Shriver, we're gonna have a massive party. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna have an event. We're gonna invite everyone, and hopefully you'll be able to come watch and join us and celebrate, and we'll make it a real big party. And if nothing else, we hope to also show it on streaming, perhaps doing a watch party online, or also maybe streaming it in a local location that is easier for people to get to. We're assuming that we're going to be heading down maybe to down to the city to see it, which should be a super fun night out. But we'll keep you posted, folks. We'll keep you posted.
That's right. You can see the trailer on what do you call it? YouTube. Go to YouTube and just A Little White Lie. Just put that in there. It'll come up.
It will.
There's other movies called Little White Lie. You'll see those trailers as well.
Put in A Little White Lie 2023. That's the key. What was the key for me. Or just click the many links that I've posted.
It'll be the first one that comes up, but it's fun. It's fun. It's a fun trailer. It's a little strange to watch, but it's for me, but it's fun.
To me, I think the reason that it's strange is because it's like exactly how I imagined it when I read Shriver. And I have one of the Raintown. I have one of the older copies. I have the one that has the mosquito on it.
Right, the original.
Hold on. I've got it, people. I'm getting a book. I'm getting a book here. I'm getting a book. Hold on.
That's a rare book.
It is a rare book. I know. I'm super excited.
That's a rare book. That's gonna be worth
billions of dollars.
$15, $17, $18.
I had it in my bag. Okay, well, let me not abandon the stream right now. Where did I put it? Okay, well,
it's underneath the table leg.
No, no, I was actually cleaning my apartment today. It always looks really clean, like right here. around me. But you guys don't know what's happening over there. So no, I was cleaning up and I was moving it around. And yes, here's my Shriver. This one. That's a, that is an actual tomato sauce stain in the art. I didn't do that to Chris's book. That's what it looks like.
That's the thing I like about that cover. It looks like whoever buys it always thinks that they've messed it up, but they haven't. It comes that way.
Yeah, but you know what? I had a bunch of legal pads because of my dad's profession back in the day, and that's pretty much how they looked. You would use them for actual writing, and then you would swat a mosquito and spill some sauce on it, and
oh yeah,
it's very lifelike. But anyways, it's time to officially welcome you to FUMFA 119. This is a big, big, big night because it's Midnight and Chance's book release celebration on FUMFA Live. I'm sure they're doing many more celebrations. But we have been so excited, just to have them back on the show. Every time they're here with us, whether it's for an open mic or a double feature, they just knock us out with how amazing they are. We just love them. We love their writing. And we are just so excited to have it in book form as well.
Right. It's going to be an amazing night. All kinds of shenanigans, I think, are going to happen tonight.
All kinds of shenanigans. We are fully prepared for incredible performances, surprises, a great Q&A session, and lots of shenanigans. We see in the chat right now, hey, Lona, it's great to see you, Lona. Rosalie Lee, hey. And of course, Mom and Dad are out there. And we're seeing some more friends joining us. Say hi in the chat if you'd like. It's going to be a fantastic night. We also have Stephanie. So if you go to put it in the chat, or if you are aware of how their book has been published, then Stephanie. And Stephanie will be joining us. She'll be part of a collab section of this evening. And she will also be part of the Q&A, so you can ask her a bit about the publishing process as well. It's going to be amazing. But before we get into this evening, Chris, what do we have coming up in the next few weeks?
Yeah, well, okay. So next week on the 12th, we have our annual Super Bowl Schmooper Bowl.
Thumbing our noses to the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, and you have poetry and prose and fabulous literary personalities to talk to. We have our old friend Vale Larkin, and then a new friend, Diosa X, will be here sharing their work. That's next week, the 12th. That's right. It's Super Bowl Schmooper Bowl.
Yeah, who cares about the Super Bowl? Jeez.
And right, I mean, you can get some hot wings and beer and sit and watch us.
Watch something better than football.
So much better, and it's so far no one has suffered a concussion on FUMFA Poets and Writers.
Not yet.
Although tonight it could happen because
you don't know, it could get wild in here.
2 weeks from tonight we have Poet Laureate Night. We've got our friends from all around Connecticut, poet laureates from different towns. We've got Jack Sheedy, we've got Bill Hayden, we've got Sandy Carlson, and our old dear friend B. Fulton Jennis will be here, and that's going to be 4 poet laureates doing their thing here on Poet Laureate Night. We're going to probably have some more poet laureates down the road because there's a million of them, and he's very talented.
Yeah, we're excited about this, peeps.
Very talented, even though even though they're all poets. And
Chris Belden.
Yeah, we love them. And then the following week we return to Eco Evolution for our in-person open mic. We have some superstars, including S.K. Marr and Amy Martin, who've been on here a couple of times. We have Chris, the Leche guy, is going to be doing some music, and our dear old friend from FUMFA, Tommy, aka T.E. Han, is going to be here, be there at Eco Evolution. That's on the 24th of February. So check that out.
listen, you got to come out to these events, people. You're missing out. If you live anywhere within a commutable distance, you got to come down. It's going to be so much fun. You got to sign up. Midnight, one of our amazing guests this evening flew out from Colorado, came up from the city to feature with us. So, you know what? If you're anywhere closer than Colorado, you have no excuse.
Florida, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, Florida's not that far, chance to get you up here. We would love that. We would love that. And if anybody is, ever coming to the Northeast and we can figure out a way to get you over here and feature you at our in-person event, that would be just the coolest thing in the world. If you are, watching from a little bit further away, we would love that. But it is 8:05, Chris. So that means
8:06. Let's do this.
We gotta get into it. We have a little bit of a special format this evening. We are going to be having a feature spot from Philip J. Curtis, Midnight, then a feature spot from John Chance Acevedo, then a collab feature with both of them and Stephanie. And then we will be having our Q&A. It's going to be amazing. So tell all your friends, make sure they've got the link and that they are joining us. It's going to be awesome. Welcoming up to the screen, Philip J. Curtis.
Where is he? Dun, 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 dun. Are you there? There he is.
Hey! I put the camera on. Oh man!
We were doing like a Junior Brown thing. It was like it was going to make an entrance in some music.
We were ready for it. We were ready for it. Midnight. You always have an incredible entrance. We just love it. Anyways, how are you doing this evening, Phil?
I don't know what's gonna happen tonight. I like that hoodie. I like that hoodie. I mean, I got a hoodie. You got a sweatshirt, but it's gonna be a good night.
It's gonna be an awesome night. We are really, really, really excited. Oh, it looks amazing, Phil. Oh, it looks so good. So good. All right. Well, let me reintroduce you with your bio, and then we're gonna leave you to it. Author, spoken word artist, host, workshop facilitator, and mentor, Philip J. Curtis is a native of Brooklyn, New York, with roots in Jamaica, West Indies, who arrived on the Colorado Springs poetry scene in 2006, bringing with him a brand of New York City straightforwardness and swag, along with the sensual son of Jamaica, West Indies. Midnight has presented and facilitated poetry workshops at various high schools, colleges, correctional facilities, and a number of nonprofit organizations. Mr. Curtis is a founding member of Here Poetry, and in 2009 he established Poetry 719 on Facebook to foster and support the freedom of self-expression in spoken and written words through community connections, education, and poetic unity for all ages. Phil, aka Midnight, recently published his first book entitled What's It All For, which covers over 40 years of writing and performing. You can follow Mr. Curtis on Instagram at MidnightPoet00. Take it away, Phil.
Okay. The title of the book is What's It All For? So we'll start with the title poem. I do what I do. Some say that I do it well. But these words from you, I sometimes can't tell. I do what I do, speaking at you, as opposed to speaking to you as opposed to speaking at you. That is what I do. And I will continue to do with or without you. Plus, I don't want to hear my daddy's voice in my ear anymore, asking me, Maestro, what's it all for? You know I love a haiku. Let's go with a haiku. I called her 12 times. None were picked up or returned. I got the message. What's this? I'm gonna read a poem from the book, What's It All For? I don't normally give the titles, but I'm going to give the title tonight just to be nice. History. According to the National School Board Association, public education has intentions, one of which is to help children fulfill their diverse capacities, diversity, background, personality, mixed experiences and beliefs, the makeup of who we are. So tell me, what do you know of your ancestry? The trailblazers of family. See, my schools taught me I can only trace my black back to the bill of sale, a cargo of 49 Negroes, bucks, older and younger wenches, most named Sally, George, or Liz, according to where they were sold and would live. School, diversity. How can that be when it's designed to control, limit free speech of teachers, students, state agencies? This is a poem. This is not a poem. This is history. Are you familiar with the acronym CRT? Teacher that teaches. Where did you get your degree? No Black history? Legislation, executive actions. Introduce our children to whitewashed American history. History books edited so that the certain narratives can be intertwined in our mind, making it seem like all this time things have been fine. Turn blind eye to the lack of fair housing and school segregation. Systemic racism as an institution, where a woke curriculum is frowned upon. German has memorials and museums of the Holocaust, a past that they're not proud of, but yet embraced. Will America ever face up to the realities of stemming from the outcomes of slavery? Tell of America's stains when it comes to the struggles of social injustice? Or will it always remain comfortable in hiding discomfort? The days when Black folks grew up learning how to be a slave, because slave labor was the pillar of the economy of this country. Great-grandfather sold for $500. Boy, hey you boy, you better answer master before you're whipped or killed. Enslaved Black women used for reproductive experimentations. Jim Crow laws, old and new, being told where to sit, where and where to take a piss. Fast forward to the mass incarceration of Black Americans, places and spaces like rural America that won't teach this when there's not even a handful of Black students. Disregarding the effects of slavery and racism in society is like ignoring dark family secrets. There should be a movement to teach African American success and accomplishments, that the continent of Africa thrived for years trading gold and ivory, building strong civilizations instead of focusing on stereotypes and myths. This is not a poem. This is history. A history that didn't begin with enslavement in US colonies until suddenly Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King Jr. appeared, making it seem that our history is merely a handful of heroic hero figures and 4 words, I have a dream. They skim around and about our history, omitting from textbooks facts and disturbing acts, forgetting when white citizens felt threatened by the rise of Black community, Black Wall Street. Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921, approved to mention that Jackie Robinson broke the Major League color line, failing to say why Black men were previously left behind in the sport of baseball. Allowed to reference Malcolm X, but unable to review any of his speeches. Can discuss musical influences, but not the details behind the lyrics of Marvin Gaye's What's Going On. Teacher that teaches, where did you get your degree? No Black history? Haiku. Out of quarantine, shootings, Child not survived lunch. We're back to normal. I'm gonna read another poem from the book. This poem I probably have never, ever performed ever. I haven't. I know I haven't. So when you buy the book, you can look for it again. This poem is entitled Rizzos. It had been some time since we've seen each other, had to greet and re-meet each other. During the time she had hers and I had my significant other. Never had the opportune time to be available for one another. Then again, we were friends, and it shouldn't matter. At least that's the thoughts in my mind that I had gathered. Thoughts of each other would come and go out of mind from time to time. Then one day, we had an unplanned occasion of how you been. Checked each other's calendars to see if we could agree on a date where both of us had nothing doing. Decided to meet at this Spanish-Italian restaurant named Rizzo's. We planned for a late evening dinner. Rizzo's was always off and popping, but we arrived close to closing. We both wore jeans. Me, I wore an emerald green shirt. Her a tank top. Reminded me that her tease will never stop. The best part was seeing again for the first time her birthmark. We chose a candlelight booth. The lights still shine on her smile with a shadow of her well endowed, all of which had made me smile in return. Without saying a word, the waiter poured our wine, leaving the bottle on the table without menus, engaging in a back and forth of catching up. She mentioned an emotional tailspin, a result of the crazy men she had been seeing. The conversation left her short and breathing. She said she was going to leave the table to gather herself. Realized that she wouldn't be in good health or self-esteem, that personal demon. So no longer would she let her past affect her desire to succeed. It was an experience that could have gone on, but leaving made her stronger. I smiled, a smile of comfort, noting that if she continues, she will live out her life dream, the success of her children, becoming a nurse and eventually a midwife, and live a relatively happy life after finding happiness. She sipped her wine and blushed, silently saying, after all these years, look at us. The waiter then made another entrance, asked what was the occasion. Just two friends reminiscing. I was looking into her eyes as she invited me into her being, catching up on all that had been happening. We share an attraction. Perhaps a calm, gentle, mutual desire. It wasn't a lustful thing or a longing for just the same. The dinner plates arrived. I had a green curry, something per her suggestion. She had a slight meatless alteration. She stuffed potatoes similar to the ones her mom would make. I was in awe of the pleasure she took with each bite. We went from glass wine to plate, but mostly fixed in conversation. I'm sure the onlookers felt we were celebrating something. I chose not to have a dessert. She wanted Rocky Road ice cream with almonds. Surprisingly, Rizzo's had it available for her. Continue with our speak and laughter until her dessert missed her lips. I grabbed a napkin to fix the drip. But my reach wasn't for her lips. Softly touching her cheek and leaned toward her, she leaned towards me. I knew the effect this could bring. But since we were here at Rizzo's reminiscing, why not relive our first kiss? Deep and passionate. Tasting the sweetness of her dessert mixed with the sweetness of her. And just like that, everything in Rizzo's faded away. Locked in a kiss I can still recall like it was yesterday. Haiku. Let's go. Love, a fairy tale, comic strip you create. Draw divorce papers. Katie, I don't know how much time I have left. I could do one more piece and
Go for it, Phil. Uh-oh, Phil, your audio is a little bit strange.
we ended up.
Oh, you're good. You're
Say that. Nothing out of the ordinary. Workmates that barely knew each other's name. Yet I noticed her almost every day. Never mind her name. Let's just call her Office Eye Candy, who always dressed business casual even on jeans day. I was curious, so I asked, do you ever wear jeans? Her reply, why do you ask? Followed by, would you like to see me in them? See, in all honesty, I like to see her out of them. That was yesterday. Today, she wore jeans.
Wow, Stevie! Stevie, it's so romantic. Phil, we got some romance this evening.
Lots of very romantic love poems there. Love that.
We love all of them. Okay. Well, I remember hearing, I think we got to hear the poem about teaching. We got to hear that in person when you were here. That was awesome. Such a powerful piece. And then we got to hear some stuff from the book that I haven't heard before. Some awesome debuts. And I love that reminiscent about the date with the friend and the first kiss all over again. My heart was melting.
That was like a short story.
I got some range.
You have endless. Oh, Midnight, you're amazing. You got endless range. I love it.
That was like a short story. The Rizzo's piece. That was like.
It pretty much I'm not limited to just 2 pages on a poem, so I could.
No, that was a beautiful narrative piece. It was fantastic, so lovely. Well, you know what? We have so much to do this evening, but Phil, we just have to ask you how was it? How was it putting this book together? How are you feeling about it now?
Oh man, it was a journey. It was a journey. Always a journey. I think I'm a little particular, so the editing was probably annoying to some, but it's okay. But it had to be right, as much right as we can, make it. Now we were trying we were trying to release it last year, but that didn't happen. But everything worked out because February 1st, 1980, was the first time I was ever on a microphone, and so to release it February 1st, 2023, 43 years later, that's beyond full circle. So it was beautiful.
That's incredible, Phil. That is truly incredible. And you're right. It has to be right. This is 40 years of writing, performing. Incredible.
And this book, by the way, is like 250 pages or something.
Yeah, it's a lot of pages. I put a lot into it on purpose because I had to condense 40 years. I mean, I have enough material to make 4 books right now if I needed to. But anyway, I put in this book. There's 4 poems in here that extends to 4 other books. So it's the prelude to 4 other books. So I had to put stuff in there like that.
Awesome.
There's a couple poems in the book where the link to me live performing, you just type it in, you can see me live performing.
Right. Yeah.
So it was, I just had to do so much in it. Had to do it.
That is
had
so
to do
cool.
it.
And there's photographs and all kinds of stuff, and chances too. There's some really great photos and illustrations and things like that. Kind of stuff you
I,
don't
I,
see all that often.
I for two of the pictures in Chance's books. I'm just gonna be straight. One is he had one of himself on the front. He had one of himself on the back. I'm like, what is this? This is
Oh my goodness, you two are just always getting each other. Well, it's gonna be
Here we go. Here we
a
go.
fun and funny night. But listen, everybody out there, if you don't already have these two books, you need to get them. All right. So many years of writing and performing, such great stuff. Links and photos, all kinds of it's just wonderful. And you all know Midnight and Chance. You'll just have the best time reading them. But Phil, we're gonna see you back in just a little while. We're gonna bring Chance up for his individual feature.
I'm gonna go get my pillow and blanket then. I'm gonna go get my pillow and blanket. Don't let me go.
All right, Chance. All right, Chance. I think Phil just went to sleep on you right there. Welcome, Chance. Oh, Chance, can you hear? Oh, Chance, you're muted. Oh,
Nope, I'm good.
oh, you're good. You're good. How are you?
You know, everyone's gonna say something, so
Oh my God! Oh my God!
everyone has something to say.
Everybody, it's true. It's true. It's true.
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing us to be here again. I really appreciate it.
It's our pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's our honor. It's our pleasure. The both of you have just been such fabulous friends ever since we've met you and have just been the best guests. And we love your work and are just so excited to celebrate these books with you. So, you know what? Chris, would you do the honor of reading? Chance, we pulled your old bio, so hopefully it's not too old. But it's full of amazing credits.
That's right. You can update it. You can update it when I'm done here,
We
John.
can update it. We can add more things to the end than what Chris says right now.
That's right. John Chance Acevedo has been reciting and hosting for nearly 2 decades. As the eldest of 3, he receives inspiration from everyday life situations and most commonly uses a blend of comedy and drama to reflect his real-life experience. Chance has become a recognized featured performer in many poetry venues and universities. He's been published in Paul Maldonado's The Company We Keep, Erato, Park Slope Poetry Project, and most recently, Me No Habla with Accento. Chance is a founding member of the hardest working poetry troupe on the scene, El Grito de Poetas, a collective of diverse Latino and Latina poets dedicated to the craft and performance of modern poetry. We are celebrating the release of his collection called Sketches of My Rights. And that's, oops, there we go. Got to get the whole title there. And look, there he is. That's him right there. It's amazing. So take it away, man.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. I have to thank Janice De Jesus, who is here. I also have to thank John for his hard work, but John, not me. I mean, I did a lot of work too, but the John, the graphic artist, and everyone at Hiwaga Publishing for making this dream come true, and just having us here. What you missed in the bio is that I wrote 50% of Midnight's book. I mean, he's not going to admit to it, but because I have the stage and he can't say anything, I'm just going to put it out there. I did write 50% of Midnight's book, but I'm allowing him to get all the proceeds because that Brooklyn education, there's no way he could have gotten through so much. And the first time Midnight hit the stage, Katie wasn't even born yet, but we really do appreciate you guys having us here. And here we go. She much rather family reunion than obituary. Learn how to become a makeup artist after every breakup. He complimenting her cover up and blends after every fight. Wow, you can't even see it. His father must have taught him how to control with fear and pay for love. She was always adorned with shiny, pretty things, clutch purse to hold broken arm in place, fancy scarves hiding fingerprints, shoes mean I'm sorry, clothing means forgive me, jewelry meant it was love. But what's the price of peace? She much rather pick dishes than count stitches, would have expense paid trips than that includes Mirage than frequent visits to a triage. She was a pro, learns how to use her face to catch each elbow, too blind to see freedom, vision impaired, even with glasses when she had visions in pairs, refuses to wear contacts. Never wanted clear sight. She named him husband. He named her number three in his contacts. Her mother warned her about checking phones, told her leave it alone. A man will always be a creep. She replied, Ma, what is the price of peace? Daddy doesn't like women. I see the hatred in his eyes. Grandma must have had never loved him. How he does us. Daddy must think we too much for him. He always yells, what am I to do? I can't do it with them. We must be the ones he can't do with. Daddy never nice talk her. Never I love you her. Or as always, makes us cry when he cries and when she cries. Always makes her heart hurt and we hurt. I always pray for mommy to leave. Or are we not worth the price of peace? A poem dedicated to Miguelito, the founder of the New Rican Poets Cafe. Sanru for Miguelito. Thanks, Miguelito. Your living room is bigger, but we call it home. How fitting is it that a poet's voyage to Mecca takes them to Alphabet City? Alphabet City. Second Ave for some was just a train stop. For most of us, it's taking an F. After not having too many of them to give, turnstiles felt like ribbon cutting ceremonial. Whether you believe it or not, every person with a notebook, head wrap, locks, tea, incense, flat top, cornrows, box braids, African twist, Caucasian slickback, suit, Jordans, Vans, Converse, 5411s, heels, wedges, midday way through Loisaida, through the Lower East Side, bruh, just to be there. Word, just to be heard. If someone told me that I would find my voice between B and C, I would question them about the other 24. It was there where you witness personal earthquakes as we anchored and paper would shake. It was there where you found your peers' bravery, their voice, their muse, their bitter ex-girlfriend, their future life. But this wasn't Love Jones. This was South from the house that Babe Ruth built. This is the house Miguelito shared, and we was just his primos haciendo visita. My face carries the memory of Galicia, Spain. Hold on to the jojobo and Aztec in the folds of my forehead. It's privilege. Tattoos hold a prejudice. My ancestry are seen in the creases of the smiles. Eyelashes to protect from sand. My nose is part Middle Eastern, part Africa coastline. Breathing in summer don't bother me. This face is recognized by Castellanos. It carries the memory of tobacco plantation owners, arepa makers, cigar rollers, trade slaves, a blessing of a troubled pregnancy, my mother's bad choices. Perhaps she loves my accomplishments because I won't end up like him. Acevedo, Castañeda, Corrales, the Indians that migrated through and made Brazil, Colombia, and Venezuela home. You can see natural resources in my sweat. This face holds motherland, native tongue, and purpose. It carries purpose. It carries purpose. Bags under eyes for the long travels and stories griots share. My face holds the memory of an infidel and a loyal husband. Those cheekbones hold black magic, my temples white magic, but my spirit is monochrome. We don't talk about white sheets midair, floating around like Casper, especially when our forefathers wore pointy sheets under curled wigs. Picture me fighting in imagination. When I have more deities to consume my time, you play with ghosts. We are not the same. We don't talk about floating figures. Halloween comes once a year. Dia de los Muertos is celebrated for a week. We have offerings and shrines for transitioned ones we look at daily. Goblins and ghouls don't call my attention much when I sit and yearn for my grandparents' blessings. High fevers as a kid had me hallucinating and seeing images moving about on my ceiling. Mother called it a gift. Neighbors called it interesting. Teachers deemed it attention seeking. Blessed children are often misguided, labeled difficult, because sensitivity isn't taught in schools, because teaching degrees don't include cultural awareness. Ghosts. Ghosts is the look on the pale people's faces when they confuse terms of endearment for slander due to lack of knowledge. I don't compete with ghosts when my ancestors walk with me daily. The loudest in the room is the weakest, but sometimes we need it because being silent speaks volumes too. Imagine a whole race of people not standing up for. Nobody wants to be scrutinized, tired of turning the other cheek. Subscribe to más calladito te ves mejor. I'm okay being loud and ugly if it gets the point across. Closed mouth don't get fed, and clearly I can eat. Things only happen when the masses are heard. How many silent protests have made significant change? Sometimes you have to be the loudest in the room. You have to scream a little so they can turn and look at you. Most times you aren't taken serious, so scream until they realize that your tongue learned their dialect, that you articulate with an accent and a yeah, son, that you melanin different. Scream until fags, bitches, trans, and niggas get the same sense of urgency as a Karen does. Until wrong is wrong, regardless of how many commas are in your bank account. Until you are placed before someone that's ready to listen. So then after that, all you really have to do is whisper. Thank you.
Wow! Chance, so powerful stuff. You know, I know that we often stay on screen while you and Phil are reading, but I was going crazy off screen, as I hope the whole audience was. Just powerful. At times, just this incredibly beautiful imagery, and painful, but you feel it. Just fantastic stuff, Chris. Just awesome,
It's
right?
insane, and it's I had this book here, right? So I was able to follow along with some of these. You weren't given the titles, but it was interesting because I could kind of find them from the subject matter. But I've never been able to.
We're title nerds over here.
But I've never been able to like read along with your poetry, so it was an interesting and new experience, right?
Yes.
When you're reading and hearing at the same time, you can kind of like dig in like a little bit, and it's like, oh man, that was a good.
It's cool. It's a different experience. It's another new experience for us. We love it. We love it all. We love it all. So Chance, that was just so fantastic. What an awesome reading. We're excited about this book. Everybody needs to get it. And Midnight is just giving it back to you in the chat over here. He's saying I trained him. He's getting you back. Don't you worry. But Chance, before we go into our collab time, we have to ask you what was it like putting together this book, and how are you feeling about everything?
It was hard. It was hard. It definitely was hard. And because I see John is in the chat, and so is Janice. I'm gonna talk smack about them. Um,
Nobody's.
no, you know what? It's good to find people that are aligned with your vision.
Totally.
And it makes it easier, right? But
Mhm.
it's also good when they push back, right?
Yeah.
So John is a graphic artist. He had a vision, and I was confused about the vision. And then it was like, no, you know what? That works. And I also, we're all control freaks and we're sensitive about our shit. So sometimes we have to let go, especially if you have a person who's doing this a little bit longer than you, and they've seen a lot, so they know what's out there and what will help you get to that next level. So I definitely appreciated that from John. And Janice De Jesus, who's the editor, she was just like, I'm just here to read. Because I mean, I can't edit a poem. How can I edit your feelings? However, she did, because as artists, we forget that even though we're writing this, and how we speak is how we want it presented,
Right.
but it's also, it has to be reader friendly.
Right. We have to think about how it's landing as well. And it's awesome to have a community that's helping you think about that and helping you to be you, exactly who you want to be, with your voice, and making sure that lands, making suggestions,
Yes.
triggering things. It's
And then,
so
and then
good.
and then letting you know, hey, yes, that works. And then us letting them know culturally, like Midnight said, gonna is a word.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Finna, even though it's not in the dictionary, is a word.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So there's a lot of things that you have to learn how to let go and accept when someone who's more experienced, who's done this a little bit longer than you, can tell you, hey, look, I hear you, I understand what you're saying, but we're going to do it this way because this is what's going to push you a little bit further.
Totally.
So I understand why it took Midnight an extra 4 months to push his book out, because that Brooklyn education, and
Terrible.
200 and
Terrible.
something 200 and something pages. I heard Janice had to get her glasses replaced 4 times because she threw them so many times after reading 2 of his poems. And I know John, he had no idea what to do with a picture of a little man standing against a tall wall. So I understand, like, perception. I'm here all night. Well, not really, but I understand how hard it was.
We gotta bring Midnight up here and let him get back at you. All right. Oh, Chance, thank you so much for sharing. What an awesome feature. And yeah, I can't tell you. Almost every writer we have come on here, they're talking about having their community, having that collaborative process, workshopping, editing, hearing suggestions that at first that maybe you're not really open to, and then being like, what? That made a huge difference, and that was really good for me, and that almost made me sound more like me somehow. It made it clear, and I've gone through the same thing, so I think that's an awesome, awesome to share, and it's an ongoing process too. But we need to get into collab time, so I believe.
John,
yeah. Should I bring up Stephanie as well?
Yeah. You can bring Stephanie up after this piece, because this is what happens when you have to carry a team member through the finish line. So this is a great example.
Terrible.
This is a great example.
Phil, you're gonna take this?
How you carry someone.
This, Phil?
See, you guys are taking it the wrong way. It's because he's old.
We're laughing.
His knees aren't good, so I have to carry him. Like, literally. Literally carry him.
All right, we're gonna leave you guys to it. We love you both.
What's going on, bro?
Hey man, what's it all for? Let me know what it's all for.
Man, you ready to do something?
I don't know if these people were ready. You know, they used to us going with the back and forth, but I don't think they really ready for what's about to happen.
Yeah, we just raise levels. Let's keep raising the levels, okay?
That's it.
Let's go, bro.
What do we know about this piece? What do you know about this piece?
This piece right here, we decided to take two people in our culture that's important to us and speak on it. You know, what they wanted to do versus what they were up against living in the world that we live in. So that's where this piece came through. And in all honesty, we both know this piece is not even done. We're gonna give it to them as is. The piece is not even done. It was like, okay, I'm tired. Let's do this. Hold on a second. Let me check this something out. Guess what? I'm red. You're blue.
I like it. Bloods and Crips.
Let's go. All right. This piece will generate backlash and hashtags based on the society in which we live. Just an excuse for more to ignore the message he gave. Lifted hearts, offered promises to the despaired, provided hope for the weary. But today his speech would likely not be received. Hashtag, I have a dream.
His mother, a teacher. His father, a farmer. He was one of 7. Imagine being from a hardworking family, but your neighbors are too poor to eat, so you find streets for salvation. Schools doesn't make you money, so you find gangs as family since schools don't teach brotherhood. This ain't Harlem Nights, but he shot his friends in the pinky toe way before Eddie Murphy did. Colombia ain't for the weak at heart. Our coffee and bananas don't help our backwards economy, so kidnappings and smuggling greens are gateways to cocaine. Dirty money develop roads, build schools and hospitals. In the slums of my Medellin, I was born in an era where snow was normal in June, where a kingpin became a politician in 1982, where politics are so dirty, nobody wants a part of it. I will continue to fight against the injustices and against the backroom dealing making, which nurtures a blatant disregard for the people's needs. Plata o plomo.
The vision of two, repulsed from what they saw taking place. When all men should be created equal, today that falls on deaf ears. The growing belief, you cannot have a dream when you're already woke. Yet this country was built on the backs of Black folks, seeing without seeing, wondering where the reparations went, confused by things that have been put in place. There's no place for people of color. Hashtag, all lives matter.
What happens when a dream dies?
Where's the eulogy for covered lives? We're supposed to be woke, right? How do we fight a good fight?
When we are constantly fed melatonin and lavender while listening to bedtime stories.
Guess what, Chance? After this is over, we're gonna talk with each other and tell us about our mistakes. They don't know. Oh shoot, I messed up. Wait. We need Stephanie. Where's Stephanie? Ladies and gentlemen, Stephanie. She is the glue to put it in the chat. Without Stephanie, I don't know what we would carry on with. She is definitely the glue for us. Y'all ready, set fire? Y'all ready?
I am. Are you ready, Chance?
Well, I'm here.
How many books I got, Stephanie? Anyway,
Shenanigans at its finest, people. Shenanigans.
oh, inside jokes. Gotta love it. Let's go.
Okay.
Layla, I wish I could speak to you in a native tongue because Black history didn't begin from the western tip of Africa, Ghana, Nigeria,
España o Europa.
places along the coast.
1000 afro-latinoamericanos haciendo robados.
Making the transatlantic slave trade easy.
Imagine not being given an option.
No choice but to bow to colonization. Sino ba talaga ako? I wish I could speak to you in a native tongue. But our lands were ruled by Spaniards. 333 years, deprived of our true identity, stupid and civilized inferior race called Indios. Mangmang walang alam, pangit, unggoy, barbariko, inalipusta at inapi ng Espanya.
Black men, women and children taken to pick and grow white cotton for the master's gold. Sold, hung, watched us burn. Them white folks in fancy clothes, slave television. Roots, watched by many, but not remotely the beginning of our history. Ari Bonjani,
I wish I could speak to you in a native tongue.
because rather than being taught, we should know our history, what we think of ourselves and where we come from.
Indio mestizo, tainted skin, altered culture. Imagine living with the hue of your oppressor for the rest of your life, tanning to wash away white from raped ancestors. I have inherited pretty eyes and some privilege until I'm asked to speak.
From the Spaniards, we were sold to another oppressor. 48 years of psychocultural marginality, deeply rooted colonial mentality, inferiority complex from having dark brown skin, flat noses, and curly hair. American white skin is beautiful and superior to that of native Filipinos.
So take a journey. Find out what happened before slavery, because we know more about lions, elephants, giraffes. God's creation, although beautiful, but what about the African people? We are more than malnourished, starving children with flies flying, never stopping to think why the TV and movie screen focus history around Europe or Asia.
Francisco Pizarro, Hernan Cortés. How comfortable would you be knowing the name of the individuals that murdered your existence? What if they had streets named after them? Watched how they were praised in your classrooms and being asked to shh, it's not your time.
But time overdue, because from K to 12 we were taught about enslavement, colonies, systems that erased our identities. Missing in our is the true history of Blackness in our children's classes, minimizing all gross violence as if we were the cause of riots.
Truth be told,
Truth be told,
there's more to
Truth be told,
there's more to our history
more to our history
than oppression
and suffering.
We are a resilient, freedom-loving people. In our blood, in our veins, in our hearts. Strength only comes from within. Jose Rizal, Andres Bonifacio, Gabriela Silang, marami pang bayani ng nakaraan. Lumaban para sa kalayaan.
Malu Anjani, we wish
we could
we
speak
speak
you in
a native tongue.
Sit down on ground as storytellers bless us, the true history of our ancestors, the beauty of Kenya, the Congo, Zimbabwe, an adventure in culture where kings and queens sat on thrones. Down the path of a mental and spiritual transformation, learning about Ghana and the nation of Zulu, know thyself, an inscription often written by the Egyptians in their temples, fruit and gold turned into civilizations, periods of mathematics well before any known philosopher.
Imagine Machu Picchu royalty in gold and silver. Naked walls don't keep records of our family. Quipus did. Knotted strings that served as reminders.
So resurrect the spirit of our ancestors because we came from greatness in order to be great. I wish I could speak to you in a native tongue.
Not having it stripped from you and given another one. Not being forced to learn what the conquerors learned. One universal language is not better than the hundreds of beautiful tones that makes us unique.
We wish we could speak in a native tongue.
Tell you more about our history because it's not just the land.
In which our ancestors were taken from. Smile, Stephanie, you can smile. Oh boy.
That piece melts my whole brain and heart. It's so powerful and so beautiful. And I'm like crying and I'm like in awe of how powerful and beautiful it is. Oh, I'm so glad you blessed us with that one today. Oh,
That's right. It's in here. It's in this book.
Can I say something about that now? Wait till later.
say again, Midnight.
We still got time.
Okay, well, we just had to like cheer you on for that piece. You needed it. You needed that live applause. Okay, go for it, y'all.
Thank you.
We'll talk about it later. Go ahead, Steph.
Okay. Lover's twinkling eyes, covered shut from what is real. Jumps cliff, love's demise.
No,
Okay, sorry.
no male role model. So he always spelled father MOMMY.
Wearing dashiki asked, "Are you from Africa?" Was supposed to be.
Fear creeps in the night. To live a life without you would be tragedy.
A dog is a man's best friend, except during the civil rights movement.
Minor disturbance. Always call an ambulance. They don't carry guns.
Magnolias spray, hands pressed straight up to the skies. Cream blossoms, shield hearts.
In a perfect world, men will mimic Darth Vader. I am your father.
Educated but filled with the white man's teachings, the master's degree.
New York is an amusement park, and I've been on every ride. Entrance to the world pays for your ticket. Unwed mothers under 18 pushing strollers filled with little people, not midgets. Kids carry balloons to share with their parents who don't care. Drunk man stands on concrete tightrope as he struggles to stay on. Stay up, all-timer. Oye viejo, stay up. Damn, that overproof got him bad, and he falls just as hard. Sorry, no net, papa. Just the rooftops we jump from to get away from the police. Homeless veteran doing knuckle push-ups for change, because that's all fighting for the good U.S. of A. taught him. Onlookers tell him he should take his act on the road. He says, I already have. In these streets. Show for free. Where tips are appreciated, but being all that you can be just isn't enough. And no magicians turning tricks from Brooklyn to the Bronx. No rabbits out of hats. Pickpockets tax the next man's wallet as I watch from my seat on the number 2 train.
Amusement park. Extra, extra, read all about it. My Brooklyn is like a Coney Island circus. All types of acts in town where random gunshots abound. Brooklyn, same old situation wherever I roam. Animalistic behaviors, wagons unload. Four-legged creatures take stages where an elephant is always in the room, terrorizing our neighborhoods. These culprits are clowns, changing faces, trying to survive big city places. Criminals, sometimes held accountable for what they do. But what about the city's ringmasters that support failing schools, mass incarcerations, and although guns are readily available, politicians are acrobatics flipping the narrative for votes. Cops, like liberty horses, run free and perform without supervision. Pigs that put themselves above the law as monkeys get shot down. And if it's not the cops, the hood people in the hood refuses to be victims of get got. Chaos, violence, anarchy, a wonderment to strangers. Little shops with intense competition, slums to suburbs. Millions of people, money, ideas, increasing tension. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, step right up.
Underpaid trainers watch more than 3-ring classrooms. You can't beat the students the way animals get tortured. Maybe if they could, you think they'd give them a worthy salary. All smiles for this shows. Cries heard each night, just like most of our lives. Crowded, sold out shows. Like overpopulated cities, clowns squeeze into one car. We squeeze into roach-infested one-bedroom apartments to make ends meet. You may laugh, but rent's no joke. Spectators don't give two shits. There ain't no oohs, no ahs, just stares of disappointment as they walk past us, shaking their head. Bastards just missed out on one hell of a show living up there in them clouds. But they'll pay top dollar when the circus is in town. Not me. You fuck Barnum.
Or that other dude, Bailey.
I ain't paying to see no show that I watch every day for free. No fake laughs, no illusions, just reality served cold. With different animals, same tricks in this amusement park. Starting real people.
For no pay.
Where every seat is the best.
And it's on 24 hours a day. We done.
So good. I just wanted to keep going. I just want the collabs to keep happening. Just stunning me with how with these incredible pieces. What a fabulous and painful and powerful kind of picture of New York and these places and the kinds of folks that you see, the struggles and situations, and we love that. I wish I could speak to you in a native tongue. That piece, such an incredible piece, and so awesome to hear all of your voices together in these, and to hear you bouncing off of each other. And it was so cool. We don't usually put the big screens right next to each other, but that was just like the perfect way to do this, and it was awesome. Chris, wasn't it awesome?
Beautiful. And we got to start asking questions because we have so many, just the collaborative process and how that works. And how does that piece in particular, native tongue. So what happened? Did you say, hey, let's write a poem together? And you said, and you just like send each other stuff, and the other person would add some, and then you go back and forth. And then somebody says it's done. I mean, how does that work? It's with 3 people.
Well, native tongue is a piece I wrote. I wrote the piece originally by myself, and it was in the archives. And I'm like, wait a minute, there's more voices to this than just mine. So then I threw it out to Chance, and Chance, he's like, okay, I got the concept. Boom. And then after that, we was like, wait, hold up. There's 3 of us, and then we threw it to Stephanie, and it's just magic. It's just magic.
There you
Total
go.
magic.
Wow.
And
And
it's just so
because
cool.
in Brooklyn they don't speak English; they speak a whole different language. You know, it's only right that they use the native tongue from Brooklyn. So
Terrible.
you
Terrible.
know, it's just
Midnight, you need to start talking about the Bronx over here.
You know what?
I don't know.
You open the newspaper, the Bronx speaks for itself. I ain't been doing that.
Oh,
They're like,
you know what?
I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
Actually,
Literally.
all of us should be laughing at Connecticut, where Chris and I live. Connecticut, please. Oh, Connecticut. Oh no. But we would just love to ask you. So we love that piece, Native Tongue, and it just, I mean, you have such an incredible flow together. It speaks to, you know, how close you are as friends, as collaborators. But you
One of
know,
the two people in the picture I don't like though. Just saying.
say again.
I said one of the two people in the picture that got free names I don't really care for. I'm just saying.
Oh. I know. But you know what's kind of amazing is I understand. I feel like you two, actually you three, have been friends for, it seems like you've been friends forever, for years and years and years. But I've heard that you've mostly only known each other since quarantine, since 2020. Can you tell us more about how you came together and just built all this so incredibly? Anyone?
Champions to speak.
They're gonna stand off.
It's all a lie. It's all a lie.
It's all a lie. Wait, have you been friends for like 40 years? Wait, did I believe a lie?
no. Okay, so what had happened was.
Oh my god, am I so gullible? I'm bad.
No. So
Okay.
okay, so the truth is, I don't know these two people. Like, no, honestly,
We're not
like,
gonna get an answer.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I've never physically met Stephanie or Midnight.
Okay.
I don't know them. The way I met Midnight was a poet by the name of Rose Gold.
Yes.
So Rose Gold was doing this event, and she was like, "Hey, this guy is doing Poetry 719, and it's the Bronx against Brooklyn." I'm like, "You, my girl, I got you. Whatever you need. You need me to be ignorant, I'm there for you. That's what I'm there to do." And and it was Midnight's birthday celebration, and I went, and I was just, just listening and talking, and it was real. It was like being back home.
Nice.
We understood the language. We understood the banter back and forth. Midnight does sports, I do sports, so we know that talking shit to each other is second nature. You don't take anything personal. It's
No.
just what it is. And knowing that you're from the streets, that's what it was. So when I met Midnight, Midnight was doing his birthday thing, and then there's another friend who was she was just doing a chat every Friday via Zoom. And it was a Friday night Zoom party.
And this was 2020.
Yes, and we would just go and just talk crap, like just like we're doing now.
It's just New Yorkers. We're just New Yorkers doing quarantine. Yeah. We just boom.
From
we just be
all over.
Boom. Yeah.
And that's what happened. And then Midnight was like, "Hey, I plan on continuing this poetry thing." And I was like, "Okay." I'm like, "That sounds good." And at that time, me and Midnight got cool, and he was just like, "Come out, hang out." I'm like, "All right, cool." And then that's when we met the goddess herself, Miss Stephanie. And then when we opened,
Wait, how did you meet her? But how did you meet Stephanie?
Well, that's what I'm gonna get to now. When I clicked in to get into the Zoom, and Stephanie's, she turned on her cam, and then this light just went, oh! It was like the second coming of Christ, or whoever you believe in, was just shining behind her. And I was just like, oh. and then ever since then, Midnight was like, hey, this is my girl. This is who I got doing the open mic with me. If you're interested, come out. And I was just like, cool. And then he was like, I would like for you to co-host. I think you and I just talking shit all day, or just talking because it's gonna be shit anyway. Would be cool, and we'll make it for a different dynamic. But it's just us doing what we normally do, even if we weren't doing the show. And
Yeah, it's nothing planned. You know, that's the
yeah.
beauty of it.
And then nothing is planned. Like, we don't sit down and say, well, I'm gonna say this about you, and then you can come and say this about me. No, it's just off the cuff. So it's been like that for 2 years.
Right.
And and then Stephanie comes in with her shenanigans every once in a while, and then we have to stay in our
Hey, her backstage shenanigans. If
Oh.
y'all only knew, she did, man.
Someone has to act normal on the screen.
You heard that, right? Someone has to act normal. So this is not her normal. She's just acting normal for the people. I mean, this is what
Oh
it
my
is.
Lord.
I
Yes,
love it.
Stephanie was hosting helping host an open mic. I think it was like on Tuesday or something, and that was going in a different direction. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna start this thing. Come on over, and then chance, boom, like the three of us just worked.
Was born.
Yeah.
Now the crazy thing is that normally someone from California, someone from Colorado, and someone from Miami wouldn't just hang out every Wednesday. It's impossible.
Right.
It's impossible. So the fact that the pandemic forced this, or kind of made
Silver
this
lining.
happen, made it all worth it. I mean, the same thing with you, Katie and Chris. This unfortunate circumstance is the reason why we're here today, and the
That's
reason
absolutely right.
is the reason why we continue to do it. Because Midnight could have easily said, okay, we're back to human form. We don't have to do this open mic anymore.
Right.
But we continue to do it to provide a space for people who just want to come out and share on a random second and fourth Wednesday of the month and just want to hang out. And
That's right.
And that's cool.
It is so cool. And it's people from all across the country, friends of yours, new people, new connections, people from all over the world. And we've had a similar experience doing our stream. We've met so many people, and it's due to this silver lining of the silver lining of the pandemic. We were all kind of stuck at home, and so we hopped online and just put ourselves out there to share our work and to meet new people, but also like the fact that you reached out to us, the fact that you show up, the fact that you share comments and that you encourage people. I mean, that's so much a part of community building. And, we're over here in Connecticut, Miami, Colorado, California. We get to be together with all of our friends and audience members. It's such a special thing. And we're so happy to continue it after that quarantine time and into the present. And now we get to celebrate your books with you. It's a tremendously special thing.
What do you think would happen if you all came together into the same actual room? Do you think?
Oh no! Oh no!
Would there be anybody alive?
First, I'm not going to the basketball court. I'm gonna take care of him right there first.
Basketball.
I gotta school him, baby. I gotta school him first.
I think so. I think that's great.
So what Midnight doesn't know is that the only reason I'm not in the NBA is because I hit my knee on the rim twice.
Oh,
I don't have those problems. So I'm just gonna let him talk. I got double knee surgery for hitting my knee so many times on the top of the rim.
You're not supposed to dunk with your feet. Come on.
Well, I was so high up there.
Obviously.
He didn't know the rules. He doesn't know the rules.
Being that I'm Colombian, I thought that's how you had to score. So I had just always jump high.
Hilarious.
It just made sense to me.
Well, we have a question in the chat that Chris and I are very interested in as well. We are dying to know. So I'm going to bring this up from Lona. Hey, Lona. Lona, talk to us about the publishing process. How did you find a publisher, and do you have an agent? Who should take this question? Just go for it. Dive in.
Stephanie.
Stephanie.
Stephanie, the silent assassin.
No, you guys tell them who published your book.
So our book was published by Hiwaga Publishing. That consists of one Stephanie who's on screen with us,
Ooh.
one John who's in the chat, and one Ms. Janice De Jesus who's
in the
also
chat.
in the chat. They are all responsible for our book. They are the reason why our book was published. They are the reason why we are here. So, you know, the other side of that, how did you find the publisher? Lona, Stephanie hijacked us. That's pretty much what it was.
That's straight up truth.
Straight up truth. She was just like, oh, she's like, hold on. These two guys are poets. They're always in my face. That's it. I'm publishing their books. And we're like, yeah, whatever. Like this silly Asian girl over here talking crazy. And she woke up one morning and she reaches out to me and Midnight and was like, hey, I'm starting my publishing company and I want you guys to be the first books that I publish. And we're like, yeah, I mean, being a New Yorker, it all sounds good until you find the receipt.
We know the game. We've heard the game.
We seen that contract. I was like, yo, she's serious. I called Midnight right away. I was like, is this a real contract? Do I have to get a lawyer to Midnight was like, no, she's serious. And if she's serious, I mean, and it didn't take much convincing at all. It did not take much convincing. We trust Stephanie. Again, I don't know her. I've never physically met her. I've never physically met Midnight. This is a bond over the internet and over the passion for writing.
That's right.
And I don't know them, but we've built such a great friendship and bond that she was just like, I just need you to trust that I can get this done.
Yep.
Again, I don't know what she's published. I don't know how many things she's published, but I know her as a person. Mm-hmm. And I spoke to Midnight because Midnight knows her a little longer. And Midnight was like, he goes, if she says she's gonna do something, she's gonna do it.
That's awesome.
And I was like, I'm in. What I got to lose? These phones have just been sitting there any other time, so I'm just like, what I got to lose? And so Lona, that's what happened. She hijacked us. She was like,
when Stephanie said, I want to publish you guys' books till now, when they just
that's a tough one.
How much time you're asking?
Yeah, was it a year ago? Was it?
Oh,
well, let's say a year ago.
Let's be clear. So, because I have a good public school education, it didn't take much time for my book to be done. I had to wait for Midnight to get his book finished, and then we had to add 4 months to his book. But no, in all honesty,
it's funny, yeah.
It wasn't. We got a contract. I want to say, I can look it up to be specific, but I think we got a contract in like June, July, or something like that.
I'll go with June.
Yeah.
And it was just trying to figure out what we wanted to do, how we wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And at first it was like, hey, and she literally asked us, when do you want to publish? And we're like, no, you're supposed to tell us when we're going to publish. And she's like, no. She's like, when do you want to publish? Because her whole thing was like, I need to make you happy.
I love that.
You tell me when you want to publish, and we'll see if we can make it. And if we can't make it, I'm gonna be honest with you and tell you no, that's not working. And she got with her team, John and Janice, and they worked their magic. And next thing you know, I get a video from my commercial of my book, and of course, my kids are showing me off to their teachers. And then, so I want to say it. Like the whole process of writing and everything has already been there. The editing, it was a quick turnaround. It was definitely a quick turnaround. And I would definitely do it again.
And the patience of Hawaga. Trust me, the patience, the patience of Hawaga is amazing. I think if I sent John a text or an email, he'll wait 3 days before he answers. He's like, I've been through it already with this dude. I told my Hawaga, and Janice was amazing. When she edited my book, when she did the edits, I was surprised. She was thorough, very thorough. Let's go with that. More thorough than I was.
If I may say something also, I just want to say, like, on behalf of the Hiwaga staff, like, thank you so much, Chance and Phil, for trusting us with your life's work, your words, and your art. And it's truly been an honor for us to be part of the whole process. And I'm looking forward to like a long relationship with you guys, and hopefully more work in the future. And congratulations, you deserve everything.
That is so awesome. Go ahead, Phil.
The fun thing about, like I said, there's so many different projects that my book is going to stem off from, and Chance's book, because Chance, his book is going into Spanish, so he's going to have a Spanish version of his book. I have two versions of my book. One is in color, one is in black and white. Inside joke. Don't even talk about it. But the beauty of the book, both my book and Chance's book, the last poem in each of our book is native tongue.
Yeah.
That's the last poem in each of our book. And the reason we did that, the three of us are going to collab on a book together with nothing but collabs.
Oh my God, it's going to be the most awesome thing. I love it.
I have a question. This is for all three of you, because Stephanie had to she's the one who decided this is going to happen, right? So he came to you. So you guys have been.
This is Stephanie's book right here.
Oh, look at that. Very nice.
So that's Stephanie's book.
Chris is asking a question.
Chris, go for it. Sorry.
Oh no, yeah, I'm just wondering, because you guys have done so much performance poetry, open mics and New York and everything. Now here we are, in book form, right? On the page. You've talked about this a little bit earlier, Chance. Were there poems that didn't make the cut for the book because they're just not the same on the page, versus a live reading? Were you concerned about any of that? Like, is this going to live on the page versus the delivery that you guys have, which is so much a part of this work?
So I'll take that first. For me, there are poems that didn't make the book, but it wasn't for any particular reason. So again, through this process, I've learned that the way you intend for someone to receive your poem is never the way they're going to receive it, right? Because they can't hear your tone, your indentation or anything. They can't hear what you're saying. So one thing that Janice always went back and forth with me, she was just like, because she would read it the way she reads it or the way she hears it. So she'll come back to me and she'll say, did you mean to line skip there? Is there a reason why you did that? And that was a collaborative process, is always asking, not assuming, okay, this belongs here. So it was always a collaborative piece, and always a asking. There is one poem that didn't make the book, and that's my Ode to Brooklyn poem, for obvious reasons. Because we're not going to talk about Brooklyn. So that's one poem that didn't make the book. But it's also, I specifically, it's a very short poem. I specifically to be about my culture, my identity and family. This book is dedicated to my paternal and maternal grandparents. So it was a book for them. And the reason that we will soon be publishing a Spanish version, and I told Stephanie when the Spanish version comes out, I'm in all honesty only looking to sell two copies, and that's one copy for my living grandmother and one copy for my mother to read. And
It's so wonderful.
if
It's so
that's
sweet.
all I sell, then I'm happy with that. Because in all my years of performing, all my years of doing events, all my years of television appearances, my grandparents, my mother, and my family who don't speak English have seen me, but have no idea what the hell I'm doing. Right?
Oh.
For all they know, I could have been getting arrested on television, but they knew that wasn't the case. But every time they saw me perform, I've heard my one of my I have 16 aunts in Colombia, so one of them would always say, "I wish I could have heard what you were saying," and that broke me. And for that reason, I'm pushing to get the Spanish version out, so at least my grandmother and my mother can have one copy of the book. And if that's all it sells, then that's all it sells. As long as they can
Chance,
share that moment
I
with
think
me.
that's the most beautiful thing in the world. And I think actually it's going to do super well because hasn't it been doing really well on the Latin American and Caribbean like book sales on Amazon? Yes, we've been seeing
So
like these incredible numbers.
So yes, it is funny because I've when the book first released, Stephanie reaches out to me. She says, "You're number one in Latin American and Caribbean poetry book sales," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's cool. You know, it's only the first day, and everybody rushed to buy it, so of course it's gonna be number one. I'm that guy."
Don't be so humble.
So
That's
yeah,
huge.
no, I was like, "I'm that guy. Of course it's gonna be number one." And then it was like, then she comes to me the next day. Hey, Chance, 2 days in a row, you're number one. I'm like, okay, stop it.
You
You got.
lie.
I'm like, you're lying. You got John, the graphic designer, making up graphics to say I'm number one. Just leave it alone. I'm okay. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. And then I went to go check, and it was just like, yeah, you're number one. So then we go to day number 3, and I'm number 2, and I'm like, you see, this is normal. 2 hours later, I'm back at number 1. So now my kids are in school Googling Amazon.com, John Chance Acevedo, and they're showing their teachers my dad is number 1 and whatever,
That
whatever,
is
whatever.
so
It is the
cool.
funniest thing. And then, so then my daughter gets super upset because I was number 1 for like 9 consecutive days. And then on the 10th day, she goes to check and she goes, "Where's your book?" Like real, like demonic. She's like, "Daddy, where's your book?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She was like, "You're no longer on Amazon." I said, "What are you talking about? I'm no longer at Amazon." So we learned that after 10 days, you're no longer a new release. You're old school.
Oh,
So she wasn't too happy about that. But yes, my book has been doing well.
great.
It's been picked up by 2 college professors to be taught in their curriculum this semester. So I'm excited about that, and it's been a blessing. It's been cool.
There's not a
I
poem
really
in there
really
that
do.
you can teach off of. I'm just saying.
Well, you know what, Midnight, we're in the first 10 days for What's It All For by Philip J. Curtis, the Midnight Poet. So y'all need to get onto Amazon right
Yes,
now and get Phil to the top of the charts as well. I already bought mine. I already bought mine. I got it in color. I should get black and white. I should get all of them. I should get multiples. You
but
should too.
it's been good. It's been a process, and again, John did an amazing job bringing my vision and Midnight's vision to life. Um,
Absolutely.
and again, Stephanie with all the shenanigans, at first. So okay, so I'm gonna release one of the shenanigans.
Not
When
that
I
one. Not that.
when I first
That
when I first looked at my book, there were hands holding pencils. And I'm like, whose hands are these? Like, what the hell is going on here with all these hands? And Stephanie was like, hey, so John put hands with pencils all around your book. And I'm like, okay, I get it. Sketches of my right. So Stephanie quickly goes to one page. She's like, that pencil looks like an extended finger. I don't like it. I'm like, what are you gonna do? Cut the person's finger off or cut the
Get rid of the finger.
She's like, get rid of it. And I'm like, just leave it. And again, that's one of those, you know, creative licenses that John has as a graphic designer. Why he put it in there, I have no idea. Does it make sense? It does make sense. It's sketches of my rights, and there's so many different hands writing, and so many different hands with pencils, pens, and things like that.
That's
It
cool.
attracts people from all across the board, from all nationalities, all cultures. So I appreciated that touch on it because I wouldn't have thought about that.
Yeah.
You know, I would have been like, just put you need hands? Let me go call my grandmother, take a picture of your fingers, put it in my book. So
Oh, I love
have no
stories
idea.
like this. These great stories from sort of behind the scenes of the processes of the moments of
Yeah.
joke and laughter and all of that. But you know what? We have to give each of you at least we have to do our famous last question with each of you. We're gonna say that your book recommendation is obviously What's It All For by Philip J. Curtis and Sketches of My Rights by John Chantal, which everyone's gonna go out there and get multiple copies of on Amazon. So we're gonna assume that's our book recommendation, but we have to ask you each, Chris. We have to ask them for a pearl of wisdom from each of you. Let's do Stephanie Midnight, and we'll wrap up with you, Chance. Stephanie, a pearl of wisdom for writers.
Yeah, pearl of wisdom, little piece of advice to writers out there.
I think just for writers to just never give up. If you have a dream that one day you'll have a book published, just keep on going, and don't stop until you reach your goal. And there's no perfect time to write. Like any time is a good time to write. So just, whenever you have that inspiration, just put everything in writing and just never give up. I think that's
Go for it. Yes. And believe in that work. You're going to find the people who love it and who want to publish it.
yes.
Thank you, Stephanie. Midnight.
Hey, one of my pearls of wisdom is to seek out hawaga.com publishing, baby. That is a pearl of wisdom. But at the same time, the I believe maybe because I've been doing it for so long, I didn't want to limit myself with this book. That's why I put a lot into it. So I think for people like we were, Chris was saying, how does your words, were there pieces that don't reflect, how do the words reflect as far as you being live and then you put it in a book? That's why I put 2 links. I typed in 2 links that's in the book that you can go and see me perform live. So just in case you didn't get it the way I wanted you to receive it, you have no choice now.
I think it's wonderful to have both. I think that's so cool. I mean, the reader is kind of hearing it in their own head and imagining it that way. Then they're seeing your delivery. I think it's wonderful. I think as much as you want to do something like that, you have this multimodal experience. It's awesome. It's awesome, Midnight. Love it, love it, love it. And Chance?
Really quickly, Lona, when will 2 be reading in New York City? We have plans on coming to New York
Yeah.
sometime in March if what I have brewing works.
Yeah.
We hope
My
so.
spring break is March 20th to the 26th. So I plan on coming to New York and having a book signing either at the New York Poets Cafe or in the Bronx. And I'm currently speaking with the Green Bookstore in Brooklyn to possibly do a book signing there. I'm doing Brooklyn specifically for three of Midnight's cousins who's going to show up. And then so that John. So the cover of my book, the the sketch was done by a young lady by the name of Rachel Cross. This young lady followed me for a week because she was writing a paper on the culture of poetry as a Latino or Latinx performance poet. Um, and she sketched that on a napkin and
Oh
gave
my
it to me.
God.
Yeah, and because I was just like so moved, the fact that she even took the time to do it is the reason why I used that for the cover. Pearl of wisdom is find yourself a Filipino who's gonna kidnap you and make you great and make you successful. If you ain't got a Filipino in your corner, you need to go start getting some spring rolls and some Thai food and find yourself a Filipino who's gonna kidnap you and
Bring
make you
shenanigans into your life.
help you with the shenanigans and have dog parties and all this other craziness
Yeah.
we got going
So,
on.
so Katie and Chris, the disclaimer of March 24th, all three of us would be there in New York.
Oh my God, all three of you?
All three of us, yeah.
Oh, we're coming down. We're coming. Oh my God. Wait, that's our open mic night.
That's right. March 24th is our open mic night.
It's only
March-
17
We'll come out to Connecticut. Oh my God.
from Manhattan to
We'll talk about it. We have to see you guys.
yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Well,
It's 17 bucks to take a train from the city to Connecticut. So
it has to be done.
It has to happen. We will see you. We here, there, both places, everything. That is the coolest thing. Oh my gosh, people, this is gonna be huge. Well, anyways, I just want to give a round of applause one more time to our incredible guests. Philip J. Curtis, aka Midnight, John Chance Acevedo, and Stephanie. I have your last name here, Stephanie Likudin.
Yes.
oh man. She's not gonna correct you.
Tavaga Cross.
She's not
And-
gonna correct you.
Some great words here from John, who has been mentioned many times. Don't write because you want to sell books, write because you have something to say. And he says, and as a side benefit, writing is the cheapest form of therapy, which I thought was cute. But listen, congratulations so much, Midnight and Chance, on these incredible books. Everybody go out and get them. Thank you so much, Stephanie and Huaga, and you're incredible. Yeah.
I love your mug.
Follow them on social media, buy the books, check out, put it in the chat. And Chris, we will see everybody next week with Vale Larkin and Diosa X. It's going to be awesome. Have a fantastic night.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you,
so
Katie.
Thank you guys. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Hawaii.
Congratulations, Chris, on your trailer.
Yes,
Everybody go see the movie.
Finally. We're so excited.
Celebrations.
So exciting.